welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Stirring the Pot. It is officially over. No, not our show. No, E22 did not kick us off the airways. This season of football is officially over. College football's been over for a little bit, but the conclusion of the NFL season was last week. It was a couple days ago, actually. It was kind of fresh in our heads right now, but Super Bowl 60 happened a couple days ago. We're recording right now on Wednesday the 11th. My apologies, I'm getting the days mixed up right now, but Super Bowl 60 is over, and we have a champion in the NFL. Not the team you would have thought at the start of the year, but before we talk about the game and a little bit about the NFL awards, guys, how are we doing today?
Oh, great. Oh, just wonderful. This week for U92, we're doing the pledge drive. There's the date show. There's free food here at the studio. Life is great. Our basketball team, our intramural one, sucks. We lost last week. We're trying to get the program together and build a competent roster still for some reason. I don't know. Hopefully we can win tomorrow. But other than that, I've been watching Game of Thrones, which keeps me very busy. I have a lot to do watching that show.
Oh, all right. I'll go then next. It's been pretty hectic, packed week, as Don mentioned. The U92 Pledge Drive, if you still want to donate, it should be up by this episode. It should be out Friday, so should have another day left. U92.com/pledge. Should be pretty fun. We've reached our goal so far, but any donation is welcome, and we greatly appreciate it.
So I wanted to find a tweet from Dave Portnoy before I went, because it's been a great week. Because I get to drink a lot of Patriot fan tears, and of course, and Dave Portnoy is the best Twitter follow after a Super Bowl loss. He says he thinks the Patriots beat the Seahawks 46 times out of 100, which is a bit rich in my opinion. But the Patriots got crushed. It's a good week. The Patriots do not win a seventh Super Bowl. They are still just schedule merchants as we all predicted. But they are officially got exposed, and people are calling Drake May the schedule now, and I love it. I love drinking these tears. It was amazing just to watch them get absolutely smoked on Sunday.
Well, John spoiled it for me. I was going to announce the winner there, but if you couldn't tell by that, the Seattle Seahawks are the champions of the NFL this season, football champions of the world, and Sam Darnold, former Jet quarterback, former first-round pick Jet quarterback, wins a Super Bowl for a different team, in a different conference, on the other side of the U.S. You gotta love to see that. This is probably one of, if not the biggest redemption arc for a quarterback in probably NFL history. I can't think of one off the top of my head right now that kind of trumps with this Seattle Seahawks comeback with Sam Darnold at the helm. 29-13 was the final score, but if you watched the game, you know it wasn't that close. I mean, halftime, it was 9-0 for the Seahawks. 3 straight field goals from Jason Myers. And the only thing that had happened besides the last drive of the first half for the Patriots where they needed out to send it to halftime, every single drive was a punt. And I think that is just beautiful. We were talking about special teams watching it at our humble abode. But just give me your guys' thoughts on this game. I know we get to talk about Drake the Schedule May and not Drake May. Fun to see a different nickname for a change. Guys, what are your thoughts on this game?
Well, I like to think about that one SpongeBob meme where Squidward goes up to that kid who couldn't win the claw machine, and he goes, "You have no skill and you're a loser!" This game was really boring, and the halftime show was great. Halftime show was redeemed it. But not going to go any further into that, but good halftime show. Other than that, my main concern is that the rage bait to Zach Charbonnet was successful because he sent a post saying, "Oh, I know fantasy football owners are trying to separate me and K-Walk," and then he gave the emoji that's the middle finger and said, "Yeah," basically to all the fans. But I mean, I know it's pretty difficult to run 1 yard and get into the end zone to score a touchdown for somebody who's carried you the whole way, but it proves that Zach Charbonnet probably watches Waiver Tango and then just cries himself to sleep every week. Sorry, Zach Charbonnet, if you're listening to this.
I think he's salty that he didn't get his 2 yards per carry and 1 touchdown this game.
Yeah, which K-Walk did deserve this MVP.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and New England, as we mentioned, the schedule was easy for them the entire year, which makes me debate whether Vrabel should have won Coach of the Year or not. We'll get into that a little bit. But him and Joe Burrow now share a stat that's not that pretty. Connor, I'm sure you'll go into that, but the defense was just constantly on Drake May. I mean, the amount of pressures that they had on him, there was really nothing that offense could get going. And Will Campbell, that game did not look good for him.
Yeah, I think we just saw what happened if Minnesota and Northwestern played a Super Bowl, because you can make a legitimate case that the punter was the MVP of that game. Michael Dixon just had the Patriots just so far back in their own part of the field, like every time he took the ball, and he really was just the unheralded hero of the game for Seattle. And if not him, Jason Myers, 5 field goals, maybe the quietest, most points scored in an NFL season ever. Yes, he does hold that record. Fun fact, Jason Myers went to Marist College, a small college in New York, and he has now scored more points in the Super Bowl than every Alabama player combined.
Wow.
Alabama has 6 points. They are from Devontae Smith in 2023, I believe, 2024.
Wow.
Whenever the first Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl was. But, yes, it was a pretty boring game. I think you're right, Dom. I mean, it was kind of a game where it wasn't like a complete blowout in the stat sheet you've seen like last year, the Seahawks Broncos about 10 years ago was, where it was just no chance. But you kind of felt like, even though the score wasn't out of hand completely, Seattle was in control of this game. And, I mean, the Patriots were getting shut out to the fourth quarter. I mean, there was just no shot. Drake May probably was the worst game. I think it's not a good all playoff, but he had probably the worst game I think I've seen him play. He missed a lot of deep balls, which is not a thing he does a lot, but pretty boring Super Bowl. But I think just maybe a bit of a lackluster end to a great NFL season, but a fun champion when all is said and done.
Yeah, punting, blocking, fair catching, kicking field goals. That is basically what this game was in a nutshell. I mean, look, for Seattle's defense, they showed they were the unit we all believed in, both on defense and partially, I would say, on offense. K-Walk had an amazing game, averaging 5 yards a carry, man. Tell you what, he deserved that Super Bowl MVP. Good on him for winning that. And Cooper Kupp gets another ring. That's also pretty cool. And then Sam Darnold, let's get the inevitable out of the way. He is a Super Bowl champion, first out of that 2018 quarterback class. Well, first round class at the very least. But I tell you what, for this game, it was pretty much just one of those snooze fest games. As Dom said, the halftime by Bad Bunny was pretty cool. And then it just kind of went back to, field goal in the third quarter, yeah. And then the fourth quarter, though, we actually got all the points we finally wanted. That was kind of cool. It was just like one quarter of Rams Seahawks pretty much. But I tell you what, Seattle deserved this Super Bowl title. I mean, I think, in my personal opinion at least, up and down, top, bottom, offense, defense were the best team in this playoffs, and they proved it. And a lot of credit goes to them. They deserve it. Mike McDonald, third youngest Super Bowl champion head coach. Shout out to Seattle. They deserved it. And for New England, have fun searching for offensive line in free agency.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about it in the preview that this Seattle Seahawks team was probably the most complete out of any of them in the playoffs. Obviously, the big talk was, is Sam Darnold going to be able to get it done on the big stage? He did. Obviously, he only went 19 of 38, which at the start of the game, it started out a little rocky for the Seahawks on offense. It started out rocky for both teams on offense, but that fourth quarter is where you saw that kind of explosion of points. There was a defensive touchdown that was I believe, Devin Witherspoon strip sack, technically, that turned out into be a pick for Uchenna Nwosu, who took it back for a touchdown. I would not want to be a scorekeeper for that play, because that was really interesting. I wasn't sure if that was going to be ruled as an interception or if that was going to be a fumble, but they did end up ruling it as an interception. That put Drake May's tally to 2 on the day, which, I mean, that one that he threw, I believe that was to Julian Love. I don't know if you guys saw the clip of Julian Love talking about it on the sidelines, saying classic rookie mistake for when he's looking downfield. When he goes on his back foot and he sees his guy, he's going to throw it to him. So, I mean, when you're a safety, you kind of realize stuff like that, and that was a big thing for Seattle.
That might have been the best Collinsworth reaction of all time.
Yes,
to
it
that
was.
Pick. What do they say? Yeah, I got nothing for you. I can't even.
Yeah, I've got nothing for you. But, I mean, it was a great game at the end, the start of the game, like you said. I mean, if you grew up watching Big Ten football like I did, this is Big Ten West football at its finest. This is just proper bad football. And it was great to watch at the end, especially when they weren't just kicking field goals and punting every time. But it was basically a soccer game at that point. I think it was a really fun matchup. And like Dom mentioned, there is a stat that I believe is shared. I'm not sure Drake May broke the record for most times sacked in a playoff run, which was held by Joe Burrow was 19. And I know Drake May at least tied it. Not exactly sure if he hit that 20 mark, but he did get sacked 6 times in this game. And one of the main flaws of that Pats team, and I know a couple Pats fans, they were complaining about him all season long, was Will Campbell. And I know he took a step back from the media, answered the media a day or two after the Super Bowl so he could collect his thoughts, which I thought was a very mature move from him. So he doesn't say anything that he wants to just he's going to say something heinous to the media. But what are your guys' thoughts on what went wrong for New England or what went right? Sorry, tongue twister right there. What went right for Seattle during this game?
I mean, Seattle, what they were doing, this game was basically played out like Steelers football for some. I remember we had a Super Bowl party. Everybody kept saying that. Just the fact that the offense was driven for that whole first half through kicks, which is the Steelers specialty. I'm honestly surprised that Jason Myers didn't get MVP. Well, of course, K-Walk deserved it, but Seattle just had everything going right in their direction. I mean, when the offense wouldn't perform, the defense would be stellar. They'd get the stop. They'd give the offense back the ball at prime position. They'd get the picks. They'd get the quarterback pressures. They'd get the hits. K-Walk was good when needed. And what's good here is the versatility of the offense, because JSN was basically locked up by Gonzalez for most of the game. Actually, he didn't really have that great of a game. I thought JSN was going to be more of a player to watch out for, more of an explosive player. Was it Rashid Shaheed that they had on that deep ball where he's double covered that he should have caught that?
It was Rashid Shaheed. He torched whoever it was on his route, and Christian Gonzalez just made up much ground and dove for that play. That was an insane play.
I mean, for New England, their defense played well. I know Robert Spillane had good contributions. I mean, whenever somebody would blow their coverage, he'd be there just to kind of mitigate the damage. And again, Gonzalez played his heart out, but there's some things you got to fix on that offense. You need some more key players. I feel like Travion was the plays that I saw him in, he was the more explosive back in this one. I mean, Ramondre Stevenson, credited as he is, as controversial as a character that dude is. I mean, he did a good job for this season compared to last season. I feel like this year in the draft, they should obviously look towards upgrading the receiver roster a little bit. Stephon Diggs, he'll be a selfish player. He celebrates when he gets a 22-yard reception when you're down in the Super Bowl. I don't understand that. That's kind of Chase Claypool mentality. But, yeah, that was... For New England, you got a little bit of things to fix to maybe play again, and you got to get ready for next year when you actually play against not cupcake opponents. So there's some things to look at if you're Mike Vrabel and fine tune before next season. John.
Yeah, I mean, going back to your point on Will Campbell, Connor, you got to pour one out for Ruben Bain. It was a rough weekend to be a short-arm player. Short arms are going to get a lot of bad PR this weekend, but I was listening to Andrew Whitler's podcast with Ryan Fitzpatrick just to hear his opinions on it, because he's obviously a all-pro tackle, played at very high level for many a years, and he said that the way Will Campbell plays is not necessarily tailored to his frame. He says Will Campbell should watch some Taron Armstead film, because he's kind of that guy that he kind of wants to mimic, and that sort of attack at the point of scrimmage sort of tackle, which is what Will Campbell probably should be given his frame. Less of like what Whitworth said he was, more of a block bit further back from the line tackle. But I think one of the things I liked about this game from the Seahawks was that even though the stat sheet does not jump out, I think Sam Darnold did one thing incredibly well this game, and that was avoid sacks. There were so many plays in this game where there was pressure on Darnold, and he had to kind of negotiate the pocket, scramble around, and just make a play and kind of keep those drives going forward. He only got sacked one time on 8 pressures, which is very impressive for me. And also definitely he was under pressure a lot this game. He was definitely able just to kind of maneuver the pocket and just kind of get ahead of that right there. And that kind of helped, because there really wasn't a point in this game where Seattle's offense really felt like it stalled out completely. I mean, they weren't finishing drives in the red zone that well. They kicked 5 field goals, but never really had that big negative play just kind of killed a drive right there. So honestly, I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I tell you what, obviously Will Campbell's performance was, horrid. 14 quarterback pressures for Drake May. You're not going to win a football game when you're running around the field the whole time just trying to get the ball out and stay alive. I think really for Drake May, this playoff run from his perspective, there's a lot to work on. We'll say that kindly, but I think really something as well to mention is that when you have the Seattle defensive line just constantly going after your offensive line if you're New England, and then not having the ability to make that in-game adjustment, that's your big problem. There, you're not going to win. I mean, this halftime was 9-0. This game was still close. New England's defense was keeping him in it, but I mean, towards that second half and then especially that fourth quarter, they just lost it away, and I think you really have to look at it and how you have to improve your team. Obviously, both whether that could be from the receiving end as well. I know their receiver room is being, a lot in question compared to obviously what Seattle has, but then when you also have, I guess, teams like New England, you have to try and make that up for a perspective, and I think really they did not do that, and for New England, that's why they lost. They couldn't keep up, and I think that was the bigger problem for New England. And how they go about the offseason, I think one thing you don't really have to worry about as much is that defense. I think the defense did play, for what they were given on the offensive side, did pretty good. We talked about the Gonzalez play, an incredible leap. But I think for New England, that offense, especially, I think one of these times is going to have to be where you have to put Henderson as that top back. That time probably has to be sooner rather than later.
It definitely does, and obviously there's going to be a lot of talk in the offseason with Kenneth Walker being an unrestricted free agent on the Seattle side. That's going to be interesting to see how they deal with that situation. He is going to command a lot of money. It's pretty rare nowadays, at least, for a running back to get that much recognition, to get a Super Bowl MVP. It's been a long time since that has happened, but it's going to be fun to see how Seattle maneuvers this offseason. Obviously, Kubiak leaving for the Raiders job. That's going to be fun to see what they do on the offensive side of the ball. There's a lot of different guys that you need to see if you can bring back into positions to keep your team in this championship contention window. But that's talk for a different episode. Let's get into the NFL honors. This is what we watched all together in sports director Quinn Ruby's apartment. That was an interesting night. I know, Dom, you were not there actually.
No, I went home to go watch Game of Thrones and get ready for my placement the next morning because I was upset that we lost to the DA team.
That was
not only that, we did go to Canes though together.
That was a rough night. That was a rough night for U92. But let's go to the thing that kept you sane that night. One of the awards during that awards presentation was Panthers rookie wide receiver Teteroa McMillan winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. That'll be the first one that we talk about. We're going to go over all the main ones. Obviously, we'll leave the big one for last that came down to the last vote. But Teteroa McMillan winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. I want to hear your thoughts on it because we pretty extensively covered the Panthers this season together.
Yeah, Connor, I mean, it was Teteroa McMillan's award to lose. To start the season, that's not really – there was a lot of other candidates that were in the picture. You had Cam Scatterbo. You had guys like Emeka Ibuka, but the candidates kind of fell off as they got hurt. It's unfortunate. You'll see them play next year. I mean, Amarian Hampton had a good run for a few – like those first 4 to 5 weeks, you saw a lot of good candidates or potential candidates to win this award, but – McMillan was just consistent. I mean, he had 1,000 yards this season, and he really helped to open up the Panthers' offense. I mean, I feel like it helps the receiving core in general. You saw in that Rams game in the playoffs, you saw Jalen Coker, an undrafted free agent from Holy Cross, be able to put up 150 yards against the Rams' defense. I mean, that's incredible. You have that and Xavier Legette. McMillan's just a piece that they needed, and it shows that they've been effective. And the chemistry between him and Bryce Young, it's electric. It's going to be a good reason why they make a good contention next year for the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I like your point, Dom. About week 5, I thought it was going to be a generational offensive rookie class, and then Scatterbo gets hurt, Ibuka gets hurt, Jackson Dart gets hurt, and then kind of has some weird play calling restrictions on him by the Giants. Tyler Warren kind of takes a step back, but I think Teteroa McMillan probably deserved the award. I mean, it's hard to give it to either Dart or Shuck just because they got hurt. Because Dart got hurt, and then Shuck didn't play like half the year, even though it was really good when he did play later in the year. But so Tech kind of gets it by default. But I mean, you're right. I mean, he's definitely going to be a big piece of Panthers' offense in years to come. I think this will not be the first time you see them in the playoffs because that division is just god awful, man.
Yeah, I tell you what, Carolina's future is pretty bright, and having McMillan to up that wide receiver core and winning this award for NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, I think really good for Carolina because it shows you have those pieces you're building. Obviously, John, you mentioned the injuries to the rest of the class, but I really think, though, Tet McMillan, over 1,000 yards receiving, had those 7 touchdowns. Tell you what, that's building blocks for the future for Carolina, especially for Bryce Young if he keeps that up. And Dave Canales is building a squad there in Carolina. I hope they keep this up because this Carolina Panthers team will always be one of those fun teams that can beat almost anybody on any given day.
It's a young team. It's a fun team. The Carolina Panthers are making moves, and it's fun to see them doing stuff in the NFC South, a division that's definitely needed an injection of youth. There's been a lot of games going on down there. It's a really kind of a hogwash
Got
division.
decided on a Falcons-Saints game between two teams who were already out of the playoffs.
Yep.
It was clear, though, that the Panthers deserved to make the playoffs out of all of them. I mean, they put up their best performance. I don't think any other team in the NFC South could have done better than them in the playoffs.
It probably should have been the Falcons, so they lost to the Jets
They had a really bad
in a game
season.
where they had the ball, I think, 3 times with a chance to take the lead within 2 minutes and just could not score.
They had a really bad end to their season, but the runner-up for that award was Tyler Shuck of the Saints. I know a lot of people were up in arms. Actually, not a lot of people. One person was very up in arms about it not being Jackson Dart. I think we all know who that is at E22. Shout out to Matt Foley. But let's go to Defensive Rookie of the Year. I thought this was a 2-horse race, but the vote ended very skewed in favor of the winner, which was Carson Schlesinger, the Mike linebacker for the Cleveland Browns. The runner-up was former South Carolina safety and Seahawks anchor on their defense, Nick Emenwari. What are your guys' thoughts on the vote there?
I think when we did the midseason awards, these were the same 2 guys. There wasn't that many other competitors for this award, but I mean, Carson Schlesinger or Nick Emenwari, they both deserve this award. I mean, Carson Schlesinger has such an impact now on Cleveland's defense. He's made key plays. He's helped get stops. And, I mean, the whole rookie class for the Cleveland Browns has been great, to be honest with you. So much that David Njoku has hightailed it out of there because Harold Fannin, he's the new guy now. I mean, this rookie class for Cleveland, this is probably there was like a stat that they had the most minutes or most play time out of every team, and I mean, it's basically the rookie class represents basically the majority of the Browns team now, but they did a great job. Carson Schlesinger is just another great draft pick by them. He's going to be a great player for years to come. I mean, just great pick by Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, for me on out, I just kind of feel like it's a bit of chalk right here. I think it's a very underrated Defensive Rookie of the Year class. I mean, Abdul Carter was I've played a very under the radar season because of all the pressures he got, helping lead to Brian Burns getting all those sacks. But definitely have to love what the Browns are doing on defense. We're going to talk about another Brown later. I mean, they at least have that to hang their hat on right now. If not much on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, they've Pro Bowl quarterback. So, but yeah, Schlesinger definitely deserved the award. Just great Mike linebacker, great tackling machine, and Nicky Emenwari also up there too. Just a lot of sneaky good talent in this defensive rookie class.
Yeah, I thought Emenwari was going to get more votes, I'm going to be completely honest. I mean, but just looking how Carson Schlesinger's season has been really as a rookie, he was that second-round pick, and I think really one of the picks that saved Andrew Berry's job, I think, for Cleveland. You have a linebacking core that 2 years ago was a very weak unit, like the worst unit, and it wasn't even close. Having a guy like Carson Schlesinger get those 156 total tackles, 67 of those being solos, which is in the top 16 in the league. I think really for him it was great for him to win the award, and for a Cleveland fan, this is pretty much our Super Bowl for the year. So we'll take Defensive Rookie of the Year. The future's bright for the young star, and I hope he does well next season.
Yeah, I think the Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year award, that's the Browns Super Bowl, and it always probably will be until a certain somebody retires. We'll talk about him in a little bit, but those are the 2 Rookie of the Years that we talked about. I don't know if we should talk about Comeback Player of the Year. I'm not sure if you guys would consider that a major award. It was Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, duh. I mean,
that one was pretty obvious. It was between him and the runner-up was Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't go wrong with either of them, in my opinion.
So let's go on to a much more important award, the one that was a little bit divided. There was actually a very close vote on this one. Not exactly. It was interesting to see who came in second, in my opinion. Coach of the Year, Mike Vrabel won it for the Patriots, but the runner-up who lost by 3 first-place votes was Liam Cohen of the Jaguars. I thought that was interesting because there's a lot of strong candidates in that Coach of the Year race. There was one guy that I think had a really dark horse shot at it, but he probably should have won it, in my opinion, with all the injuries that happened to his team. Personally, I thought it should have been Shanahan.
I think if they had gotten the 1 seed in the last week of the year, it would have been Shanahan.
I feel like every year it's Shanahan, though. He's always in that mix of coach of the year.
Because the data center. It's because
he just
of
deals.
the data center next to San Francisco.
Yeah.
It's making them all injured,
Injuries.
as Joe Rogan would say.
I mean, at this point, this is just a part of this guy's resume. He could just put this on a LinkedIn that he has a run. He runs a hospital at
Yeah,
the
and
49ers facility.
And I think, obviously, we'll talk about the main award, which was a 2-horse race and ended in one of the closest margins in history. But I think Coach of the Year was the one where you could have seen any of the candidates winning it.
I don't like Vrabel winning it, in my opinion.
I don't either.
I don't either.
Now, obviously, we have the benefit of hindsight because we all saw them get exposed to schedule frauds on national stage.
I think of it more as I like Coach of the Year as which coach has really put in a new culture to the team, has really brought the team the relevancy again, and has just made the team competent. Like those teams, not like a Mike Tomlin team where it's year after year, the same old, 10-7, or let's say Zach Taylor barely misses playoffs, whatever. Like something has to either change for a franchise or it's got to be something major. Like that one year Dan Campbell should have won it. He brought in this new culture. That will bite your kneecaps off type of deal. And that's why I think Liam Cohen should have won it.
I think there's a couple names. These are the candidates. It was Liam Cohen, Ben Johnson of the Bears, who I thought was a very strong candidate.
That's a great candidate.
Mike McDonald, who I personally think probably, other than Shanahan, should have won it. Got that Seahawks team, and you thought that Seahawks team was going to be – they didn't even think they were going to make the playoffs at the start of the year. And Mike McDonald took them to a Super Bowl.
You know who thought they were going to make the playoffs and who should have been the front runner of this?
Who?
2 months ago?
Who?
Shane Steichen. Before they went down the drain.
Did he even have a vote?
No.
I don't think
Shane
so.
Steichen,
What a
halfway,
weird year.
he was the mid-season coach
What
of
a
the year.
weird year. The Colts were like 8-2. They missed
Fell
the
off a
playoffs.
cliff.
And then the other two finalists were Shanahan and Vrabel. Somebody who I think got snubbed, Sean Payton. I think Sean Payton
I
got
wanted him in this
majorly
race.
snubbed.
I'm probably because they made the playoffs last year.
Yeah, but I mean they got the 1 seed, didn't they?
I think if he was one to me, I think if you want to ask like what coach did the most 13, I think it's Mike McDonald easily because I think it's the first offensive play caller to win a Super Bowl. As a head coach who calls offensive plays.
You can make the argument that Sean McVay got snubbed again.
Well, I think Vegas is like when you've done it for 8 years, like
Yeah.
I think Liam Cohen, though, made the biggest impact because last year Jacksonville was a mess.
I was very low on Liam Cohen. If you guys would remember at mid-season, I was talking about how I thought he was soft, and I thought that he was kind of a pushover and that Lawrence was just going to run the entire team. Boy, was I wrong. I think Liam Cohen definitely stepped up in that second half of the season. Maybe he heard my pep talk. Maybe he listens to Stirring the Pot on U92 The Moose and has thought, hey, maybe I shouldn't be a pushover. But he really stepped into his own. I think he definitely deserves all the credit he's been getting. And we remember, if you guys listened to the ESPN coverage of that Jags-Bills game, that one reporter saying you should be proud of yourself to Liam Cohen for what he was able to accomplish with that Jacksonville team. If you're getting that kind of love from reporters, I feel like you should have been Coach of the Year. But
He was pretty close. But it's the problem of, you took a 4-win team and you made him really good. We're going to give you Coach of the Year. It's
pretty much.
On a
unfortunately
cupcake
inevitable.
Took him to a Super Bowl. Like, you can't really get past that. But that was Coach of the Year. That was, like I said, that was separated by 3 votes. Offensive Player of the Year is the one I want to talk about first. Before we get to the 2 main ones. Well, this is one of the 3 main ones, but I think this one was kind of obvious. This vote was only separated by 2 points. Jackson Smith-Njigba won Offensive Player of the Year for the Seahawks. Christian McCaffrey lost by 2 first-place votes, which I think is ridiculous. Because you know who had more yards than him and was on that list? Bijan Robinson.
Bijan's team didn't make the playoffs.
That's very true, but
I mean, these next 2 awards are just the most chalk ones ever. I mean, it couldn't have been anyone else, in my opinion, for Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year. If you watch Seahawks game this year, you knew Jason was the best player on the field at all times. He had that the entire year, and I mean, he's a big part of why they made that run. It's just these next 2 awards are probably the easiest votes that you could possibly have.
Yeah, I mean, JSN just really good, especially that route running for Seattle, really helping Sam Darnold stay on that track he was in at Minnesota. McCaffrey having 12 and keeping it that close to me is stunning. That shows a lot. Like, yes, McCaffrey's really good, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, it was kind of hard not to give it to JSN.
Yeah, I think that there's just a lot of favoritism towards McCaffrey because it's the fact that this guy gets injured like every other year, and then the next year he just, puts up a a glorified season where everybody praises him again, and it's just a constant, never-ending cycle. Great player. JSN clearly deserved to win this, as he's just been him. I mean, top number one receiver in fantasy football for, I have no idea, quite a few weeks. Dude would put up like 30 points a game whenever Kenneth Walker was on the bench, giving that fiery energy for Zach Charbonnet to go and do his little magic. But JSN was something special this year, and clearly you didn't need DK Metcalf anymore.
Yeah, I think that was pretty obvious. Going back to our mid-season awards episode, do you guys remember who we had winning this?
Did we say
It was Taylor.
We had
Sad.
Drake May winning it.
Oh yeah. Well,
Because we had Jonathan Taylor winning MVP. And I mean, at the time, that was a good take. But Jonathan Taylor fell off a cliff at the end of the season.
What happened to the Colts, man?
I know. I really hope Jonathan
That
Taylor
was going to be
gets
the
his spin
story of
back.
this year,
Yeah.
and it was for up until Thanksgiving. Really,
The Colts were the Super Bowl favorites at midseason. They were the number one team in the NFL.
it was that injury from Daniel Jones that did it?
Yep.
That's
even
was
before
Daniel
that, they
Jones.
lost to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's like that one thing, like, oh, McQueen is
The
fading.
Queen is fading. Oh, wow. What a shout. But to the two main storylines of this NFL honors ceremony, for the second time in NFL history, there was a unanimous number one pick for Defensive Player of the Year. Obviously, I feel like it was kind of obvious. Broke the sack record. Myles Garrett is the second time in NFL history that a player has unanimously won Defensive Player of the Year. Can you name the other one?
Was it like a long time ago?
J.J.
Nope.
Watt.
J.J. Watt in 2014.
Well, explain it. That's easy.
That was MVP J.J.
was
Watt.
nuts.
Should have been MVP J.J. Watt. But Myles Garrett is your NFL Defensive Player of the Year after breaking Michael Strahan's sack record, single-season sack record. My apologies. But, like I said, NFL history was made. Second time they have a unanimous winner.
Was it Strahan who went up to Brett Favre and said he hurt his feelings, or
that
was Gastineau?
that was Gastineau.
Yeah.
Gastineau.
Yeah, now Gastineau.
Because Brett Favre kind of gave him this, kind of just laid down for him. So stupid.
People are saying that Joe Burrow dove, too.
And the average Steelers fan would probably say, "Oh, T.J. Watt doesn't know." T.J.
How many
No.
playoff sacks does he have?
Yeah, he's got like none. He's regressed.
None.
Yeah.
I mean, Myles Garrett, for how long he's been in the league, this year, I remember the specific game when I think it was the first time you guys played the Bengals. I mean, his presence was just known. The Bengals couldn't get anything done in the second half. I only think they got like 6 yards of positive.
That's what happens when you
positive
don't have an
yards.
offense.
And,
Yeah.
I would just like to point out before you keep speaking, Devin Witherspoon has more playoff sacks than T.J. Watt.
Well, that's fair.
A corner.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Myles Garrett is just a player when he's going to ruin your game wrecker. I mean, he deserves unanimous for a reason. John, what's your thoughts and comments?
He should have won it. No comment.
Wow, look at that.
I mean, how can you argue against it? He broke the sack record.
Yeah, wasn't expecting him to break the sack record if you told me that week one. I mean, just seeing what he does is just absolutely insane. I mean, when you have a guy who can jump off the line and get it through a tackle like he's Usain Bolt, I mean, Jesus, man. It was fun to watch him all year. Just wish we had an offense around him that made this team more competitive, but he deserves it. His work ethic is absolutely nuts.
I would agree. Myles Garrett is a freak of nature. But I think the biggest snub of that was Brian Burns not being a finalist. I think Brian Burns was one of, if not the best defensive player in his conference.
When your team stinks, that's what happens.
Who's in the running for this?
Aiden Hutchinson was one of them.
He wasn't getting
Will Anderson. Will Anderson was the unanimous
second.
runner-up.
I feel bad for Will Anderson.
Yeah. And then was Devin Lloyd on there, or was he not?
He probably should have, but probably wasn't on there.
I feel like there's some random player
I feel like
that
there was a
I don't
linebacker on
know
there.
the name of.
I know the top three. I don't think PS2 was on there
I know he might have been actually. Now that you mentioned that,
because I don't think it was all. edge rushers.
Micah, no, it was Micah, Nick Benito, Aiden Hutchinson, Will Anderson,
Micah
Myles
and Nick
Garrett.
Benito.
Which Anderson will get one. Trust me, it's just a matter of.
I think
time.
he's going to win it next year. I think it's his to lose next year
Possible.
because he's gotten better progressively every single season he's played in the NFL.
That's what you want out of a D end.
I think it's going to be between him and Micah next year. But is Micah going to miss time at the start of the year? I don't
I would
know.
assume
He
so.
might have a little bit. 'Cause
It's
his
an
was
Achilles or is Achilles or ACL?
His ACL. His
Yeah,
was
yeah,
more
he's got
towards the
stuff.
latter half of the year, though.
Yeah, but now we're on to the biggest storyline of this weekend. The one that everybody was up in arms about because they didn't know who was going to win it. I think it was pretty obvious who was going to win it, but it was separated by one first-place vote. And I can probably tell you who that was. It was probably Dan Orlovsky who skewed this vote. And Dan Orlovsky is going to be receiving death threats because he is the biggest sucker offer of the person who won this MVP award because he played, he was his backup. Ooh, so cool. But this is the third tightest MVP race in league history, only behind Brett Favre and Barry Sanders in 1997, where they had split first-place votes, and 2003, Peyton Manning and Steve McNair. They both ended in first-place vote ties. Now, this first-place vote was separated by one, 24-23. It was a two-horse race, but in the end, the LA Rams' Matt Stafford won his first MVP award and fully cemented his Hall of Fame case.
I feel like for Matt Stafford, just the story of the past 5 years, it's something that'll be talked about for the rest of NFL history. I mean, that's probably the trade between him and Jared Goff is probably the fairest trade in league history to this day. I mean, both teams ended up successful, but for Matt Stafford, for somebody to say like 10 years ago that Matt Stafford would go to the LA Rams, win a Super Bowl, and win an MVP within 5 years, I don't think anybody would say that's possible.
And I mean, with that trade as well, I'm pretty sure two of those picks turned into Jahmyr Gibbs and Jameson Williams,
Yes,
who are
sir.
both cornerstones of that Lions offense.
Again, both teams greatly benefited. Both teams are now two top 10 teams in the league today.
Yeah, I mean, I love Matt Stafford. I've loved him throughout this podcast. I was on Drake May's believer of most of this year, just because I think Matt Stafford plays with an incredible, not incredible offensive line, but a very talented offensive line. Really just kind of had a great year this year, and two phenomenal receivers, and just a great run scheme there. Drake May really had to do it all by himself. He was really just out there. I think he was the reason that elevated this team. I know obviously the schedule complaints have been a bit overblown, but Stafford didn't have. I mean, not overblown, but they've been kind of in the forefront of everybody's mind. But I think Drake May just did more for this Pats team than Matt Stafford did for this Rams team, which is great. It's hard to say because Matt Stafford's a great quarterback, but Drake May was the reason the Pats got as far as they did in the regular season. Obviously, his playoff performance left a lot to be desired, but it's a regular season award. I think he had the better regular season here. I think he was just a more important player to his team. And at the end of the day, that's what MVP's about. So.
Yeah, MVP is the most valuable player award, not most valuable team. I mean, with this vote being that close, obviously a lot of people took credit to what Drake May was doing, but, I mean, they're going to look at the stats with Matthew Stafford and how good he was this season, which, trust me, he was great this season. Don't get me wrong. Like, this is not to take anything away from Matthew Stafford. It's just for Drake May, if you want to compare the weapons the two have, if you switch roles in that offense, put Matthew Stafford on the Patriots, put Drake May on the Rams. I mean, I'm just going to say the stats might be a little bit different, but still, I mean, congratulations to Matthew Stafford. Obviously had a great season, and having an MVP to a Hall of Fame career. Now, I tell you what, Matthew Stafford, man, it'll be fun to see him once he goes to Canton.
Matt Stafford, I believe, now has a chance to go first ballot. I'm not sure he will. But there is now a chance because he now has the two most important things that you can add to your resume as a quarterback. He has a Super Bowl title, and he has an MVP award.
Pro Bowler? Was he a Pro Bowler?
Oh, he has to have been.
He has been a Pro Bowler
Definitely been a
four
Pro Bowl.
times.
Pro Bowl's a joke. Who cares?
4 times, I think he's been
Well,
a
this is
Pro Bowler.
before the Pro Bowl.
You have to be a Pro Bowler to be a Hall of
He was
Fame
a 4-time Pro Bowler as a Lion, I believe, which is pretty difficult considering
He was
the
a
fact.
3-time.
Yeah,
I think.
3-time with the Lions.
Wasn't there a team this year that had no Pro Bowlers?
Is that a thing?
Like,
It's
of course, not the
like,
Super Bowl teams.
It's not like the MLB where you have to have one player from each team.
Yeah, I think there was a team that had no Pro Bowlers this year. I forget which team that was.
One-time All-Pro and 2011 AP Comeback Player of the Year.
Probably the Tennessee Titans.
You know what? That makes sense.
Oh, DK. Got it as a returner, I think.
Jimray DK, wow. Oh, special teamer, yeah. He is a pretty good punt returner.
In the initial roster, there were no players from the Jets, Vikings, or Saints.
The Vikings.
And these
Oh,
the
that's right,
initial
because
roster,
Jefferson.
Jefferson was just got his career ruined, his season ruined by 9.
I am, Yeah, Yeah, there's not a whole lot of talent on that Saints team right now. Obviously, other than Chris Olave, but Chris Olave.
Isaiah Williams got absolutely snubbed. By the way, I want everybody to know that right now. He was the best turner in the league this year. He got absolutely snubbed. That's my 5 seconds of Jets PR right there.
Didn't he have like 3 return touchdowns?
Yes, in a game.
In one game. Oh, I know he had
2
two
got called
against
back
the
for
Browns.
holding.
I would say with the
Cleveland.
quarterbacks who made the Pro Bowl, you could probably have put Tyler Shuck in there.
Yeah, Shadur Sanders was a Pro Bowler. That's all I need to
And
know.
Joe
Hey.
Flacco
That was
was.
a joke. No one cares about it.
I still
Flacco.
can't believe that that's Joe Flacco's first Pro Bowl.
That's actually sad.
That's
I felt
weird.
bad for him.
Good for him.
Maybe
Good
that
for
was
him,
the
man.
Good LinkedIn resume.
road to
but-
Canton.
Is that like a makeup call for a not Super Bowl Pro
I think,
Bowl?
I think they literally ran out of quarterbacks in the AFC.
They did.
Yeah.
I think, honestly,
Flacco
God,
played
ran
in
out
like
of quarterbacks.
Flacco played in like 6 games.
Yeah, I mean, they asked Fields before.
They asked, Fields said no.
Yeah, and he
I
said
think
no.
Fields,
What about
there's
Trevor
nothing
Lawrence?
Mr. Fields wants to do less than play football right now.
Yeah, like I know the thing now where it's like announce the rosters and don't play the game. That has some credibility now because nobody's taking these, which means you're not putting the best players in the Pro Bowl. It kind of defeats the whole purpose because now you can't use it as a Hall of Fame. From what, maybe 2-3 years ago on
All
now.
pros are the more important.
It should be
stat.
all pro
Yes.
now.
All Pro is definitely the more important one. I know Dom and I had a conversation while we were home, I believe that was Thanksgiving break? No. It was the end of Christmas break. And we talked about the All Pro teams because J.C. Horn got snubbed for the NFC
Who did
team.
he get snubbed over again?
It was DeJean and Quinion. Both got it.
Okay, no. J.C. Horn and his other
Which-
Mike Jackson,
I agree DeJean should have been on it. I agree DeJean was an all pro.
not Mitchell.
Quinion Mitchell had a very bad second season. He was not a good corner this year.
I see more plays where he gets cooked than when he does something.
But that's our Panthers propaganda. But
Yeah.
we need
Mike
to,
Jackson's also a
Sneaky
good
Mike
quarterback.
Jackson season.
We need
I will
to
say.
we need to run back the lost internet Panthers
jeez,
episode.
lost
I feel like that'd be
media.
really good. But obviously, there's a lot of different things you can say about the Pro Bowl. Joe Flacco only played football this season because Jake Browning was that bad. That's the only reason he was contracted to a team this year,
Hey, you guys.
and he
Quotes.
balled out.
You guys should have never have cut me. Well, you probably got cut after this year, Jake Browning.
Yeah, he's not good. He's really not good. I think the only
Sean
reason he's in the
Clifford.
NFL is because his girlfriend's hot.
Probably.
Sean
More than
Media
likely.
Clifford.
Is there any
Practice
more
squad.
awards we need to go there?
There
Protector
are-
of the Year?
Yeah, that was Joe Tooney. That was an
Shout
interesting one. Believe that was also unanimous. Joe Tooney as the Protector of the Year.
Ring chaser Joe Tooney.
Well, how would he be a ring chaser if he's going away from the team that
Because
wins
he's
all
had
the rings?
multiple. What's his resume?
Anti-
He went from
Patriots.
the Pats to the Chiefs. He's basically just doing the Robert Ory arc right here.
He's a Bear.
Which is a pretty common.
Now he's a Bear.
You know,
I
which
don't know
is
if
a
there was
team
He is
that
a
voting
Bear,
on
yeah.
it.
Almost
I can't
made it.
find it.
That was a great pickup by the Chicago, by the way.
Remember when the Chiefs played him at left tackle in the Super Bowl last year and we thought that was a good idea?
Yeah, he got
He
torched.
got destroyed.
Yeah, let's
And then,
play an inside lineman at
Playing
outside
let's play our
lineman.
all-pro guard at left tackle because we can.
Then they announced the Hall of Fame candidates, which all of them deserve. And I mean, Drew Brees, player.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite was the Drew Brees in One Direction commercial where he's like, "I'm Drew Brees, MVP, Super Bowl."
I think this would probably be the last thing we'll talk about on this episode, but you know what made me feel insanely old? Luke Kuechly.
Luke Kuechly, yeah.
That hurt. That
That's
really
not
hurt. Obviously, the other 3 candidates, I believe, were Larry Fitzgerald, Adam Vinatieri. Oh, it was
Well,
that
there were
old
Niners
five. There were
guy.
5. It
Niners
was
running back.
Fitzgerald, Roger
was
Craig,
Roger
Vinatieri,
Craig.
Kuechly, Brees. A
Stacked
stack. That's a
class. It
stacked
is.
class
That is
right
a
there.
stacked
I'm
class.
surprised it took Roger Craig that long, but obviously the video of him getting inducted was just great.
That was awesome.
All-time legend right there.
My favorite was the Larry Fitzgerald video because it was Randy Moss, and if you know, Randy Moss was basically like Larry Fitzgerald looked up to him, and I think he was the Minnesota Vikings
ball boy.
Yeah, ball
Yes, he
boy.
was.
Which is just a nuts timeline. I might have to go to Canton for the induction before I come back up here.
I think it's great.
So worth it.
I think it's really good to see. We get to bring back the best stat of all time. That Larry Fitzgerald had more career tackles than drops, which is ridiculous.
incredible, man.
That is ridiculous for a wide receiver that played as long as he did. That's absolutely crazy. I believe he had the second most receiving yards of all time, only behind Jerry Rice.
I think.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did.
Oh my god!
Definition of consistency, man. Can't beat it.
It is a crime that
Mike,
man-
it's gonna be Mike Evans in a few years.
It is a crime. That
Going
he
to
didn't get
do you want to do our way too early picks now?
for the Super Bowl?
What just
Huh.
shout
Way too
out an
early
opponent?
picks.
We could do a way too early Super Bowl prediction.
We should do it.
let's
just have it on record.
I'll just go off the color scheme. I see orange. I see blue. I know that some people, that's Miami's color scheme. No, I see either that's the Broncos orange, that's the Bengals orange. So I'm going to go Bengals. And the blue.
And we're
Nice.
already
And the
over
blue,
one.
I'm going to go with
Thanks for the jinx. I just heard a disturbance in T. Higgins' knee.
the Panthers.
Bronco.
The
That'd be
Panthers.
Yes.
that'd be the wildest day in our apartment's history. Would be a Bengals Panther Super Bowl.
Yeah.
All right, I have 2 picks here from the NFC. I'm gonna go with the Niners out of the NFC. I'm going with the Niners out of the NFC.
That's what I was
think
gonna
they're
pick.
due for a clean bill of health. I've just had too much bad injury like the past couple of years. I think Brock Purdy is going to have an MVP type of run next year.
Please tell me
he
we have
was
the same teams.
He was. I think we might. I think it's the guys he like. I think he was so good down the stretch this year after his injury that people kind of forgot just how good he was. I love the Raheem Morris hire. I think Niners are getting a Super Bowl. I'm taking the AFC. I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yep, me and Connor.
Wow. Same
Absolute
pick.
perfect picks right there.
I think that's a really
I
dark horse
think the
pick.
Jaguars probably could have made it this year if they didn't get just destroyed by Josh Allen. I think you get Trevor Lawrence in another year of Liam Cohen's system. He's going to be a lot better. Travis Hunter's going to be there. Maybe he can produce for this team. He's a very talented guy.
Get rid of BTJ.
Hear
Get rid
me.
of him.
No, he's going to have a great bounce back year. But hear me out on this one. Travis Etienne is a pending free agent this year. If they don't get him, Kenneth Walker's a Jag.
Oh,
I can't
please.
see
They're
the
not
Seahawks
gonna
letting
let him
him
leave,
go.
though.
I don't think they're going to let him go either. But they definitely. I could see a running back swap there.
I could see it.
Because I think that Seattle offensive system loves Zach Charbonnet way too much. That I think they're just going to try and get any kind of explosive back.
Just take Jonah Coleman.
Try to save money.
Just take Jonah Coleman.
Pretty
Just
much.
Give him
Because
Washington.
they're going to have to re-sign everybody on that defense coming up very soon.
All right.
I at least got to have one from the color scheme from the NFC. I think they're going to do it now. They have a little bit of playoff experience under their belt. They had a cardiac season last year. The Chicago Bears out of the NFC, got to make it fun. And for the AFC, I'm kind of torn. This was one man's lover team this playoffs. And if they, fix a little bit of a quarterback problem, I think they might have it set. Houston, we have a Super Bowl appearance. I might go Chicago, Houston as a Super Bowl. It's probably going to blow up in my face, but it's way too early for a reason.
I think if it's not Jacksonville, it's going to be Houston.
You know what, guys? We're all making this up. It's going to be a repeat of one of the last 5 Super Bowls.
Eagles Chiefs.
Yeah, I think Eagles Chiefs for a third time.
No, please God, no.
No,
I'm done.
Ooh,
I'm
I've
done.
got a better one for you. Eagles Pats.
That was my nightmare scenario when this playoffs. I was
No,
like,
my nightmare.
Oh.
My nightmare scenario this playoffs was San Fran, New England. I would have hated that one. I would have despised that Super Bowl.
I've grown to appreciate the 49ers for Kyle Shanahan's coaching and Kyle Shanahan's coaching only. I don't like Brock Purdy as a quarterback. Christian McCaffrey's kind of annoying, in my opinion. I think he's fun, but I don't really like him.
My favorite's how just like their receivers just disappeared. Like Brennan Ayuk, poof of smoke, gone.
Tell me,
He'll never be seen
Proof of smoke
again.
and a puff of gasoline from his car going too fast.
tell me, Brandon Ayuk's not a saint. Tell me he's not a saint.
No, he's gonna play
he's
for
not.
he's gonna play for the longest yard team. That's what he's gonna do.
Longest yard.
He might actually.
He's gonna have James Pierce blocking him. It's
I
gonna be
think
great.
I think he's either a saint or a Pat. Because I think the Pats are going to try and make a play for A.J. Brown, and he's not going to leave.
I think he's going to go start a rapping career, and he's going to drop an album with Isaiah Wilson.
He's going to have a career resurgence somewhere, and then he's going to get arrested. I think that's pretty accurate. But
You know what? It'll probably be Pittsburgh. Yeah, that seems.
Yeah.
That
The
seems.
Steelers. Team him up with his college teammate, DK Metcalf.
wow.
Oh no. Well, at least he can quit saying that he looks like Mike Tomlin and that they should bring him into the team.
That'd be the Ole Miss theme team.
Oh, my gosh.
Please no.
That'd be so fun.
That would be really fun.
You know who you could get at quarterback then? You could go into the lower leagues and get Matt Corral.
Oh, my God, Matt Corral.
Oh, Trinidad Chambliss, but like if he worked at Dollar Tree.
That jam was horrible.
I don't even think Matt Corral played in a preseason game in the NFL.
You can just draft Trinidad Chambliss.
Good.
He got denied eligibility.
You know what?
But that'd be a smart
be
move.
fine with
Steelers
that.
don't do smart
That would
moves
be
anymore.
fun. The Steelers don't do fun things.
I think Quinn Roby would like. That'd be the happiest day of Quinn Roby's life if they picked them.
He likes anything.
but he
that
never
the
tried.
Steelers do. He's a notorious glazer of anything
I-
they do or say.
I get huge Tennessee Titans Malik Willis vibes from Trinidad Chambliss.
That's not a good thing.
That is not a good
is
thing,
not.
because he was really bad for the Titans.
Oh.
But if you play for the Titans, you're probably going to be bad if you're a
It's
quarterback.
like the
Malik-
Kenny Pickett of Malik Willis.
He gave like the world secondhand embarrassment as his girlfriend was watching him become a loser in the draft as he just was like slipping through the rounds.
And then, I cannot wait to see what happens. I think a fun team next year, I think they might make a playoff push, is going to be the Titans. I think they might actually make a sneaky wild card push.
Really good coaching hires.
Good coaching.
I'm excited
Is-
to see the rivalry between him and Cohen because they were going to fight each other at one point in the
Saleh
season.
and Cohen. So Saleh versus Cohen, that's going to be a marquee matchup next year. I think
That's the most Thursday night game ever.
because I think they're going to add a receiver in the offseason. They're going to try and do something to get Cam Ward somebody to throw
They
to.
need it. No, they'll probably go.
They can't do geriatric Calvin Ridley for another year.
That's where they're going. Their top 10. That's where their top 10.
Let
pick
me
is being invested
let me
in.
raise you a better Thursday night football game: Kevin Stefanski versus Baker Mayfield.
oh.
That's another good run.
I will be watching that.
I think
both times.
this year in the NFL was so fun. I think with all the different hires and all the different people going to different places, I think next year's going to be more fun.
As long as
know.
Mahomes,
You got a lot
as
of-
long as Mahomes, Lamar, and Josh stay mid, I'm okay with that.
Because there's a team that was that's been pretty historically bad over the past couple years that's going to get the number 1 pick and an offensive-minded head coach. That's going to be the Raiders. And the Saints are going to be fun next year because they're probably going to add a receiver or a running back in the draft. Tyler Shuck's going to have a full season at the helm. And all the bad teams this year are going to be at least somewhat
You're
competent.
forgetting there's one
That'd
bad
be
team that's not
awesome.
going to be confident.
The Jets.
March for Arch, baby!
Oh, yeah, baby.
And all the good teams that everybody hates now are going to fall behind.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode. We could ramble on about this for 3 hours. But we will see you guys next week. We're going to have some kind of fun episode planned for you guys. We've got a lot of things cooking up the sleeves. So peace out. See y'all next time.